Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, I want to share with you another way to dodge and burn, and this is one of my favorite ways to apply dodging and burning to landscape photos or any type of photo where I want to apply and edit gradually. Now we can do that with our brushes, but it's going to take more time and it's not going to be as precise with the next tool that we're going to use, which is our gradient tool. And the gradient tool is located right here. You may have the paint bucket tool selected, so just click on that to access this drop down menu here, and then go ahead and select the gradient tool. And the keyboard shortcut for these tools is G. Depending on which tool you last selected, that's what will be selected with that keyboard shortcut. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is select the gradient options within this box right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on this. This is going to give us the gradient editor, and you need to make sure that you select this gradient right here, which is the third one, which is from black to white, which you can see right here. And then we need to actually edit these colors so that there's no white, and it only has shades of gray from black down to gray until there's nothing. So what we need to do is click on this little icon right here, and then change the opacity to 0. So now we only have blacks and shades of gray until we get to a point where there is no grays being applied at all, and that's why it's transparent down here. So basically what we're doing is applying different shades of gray to darken up specific areas of our image gradually. So we're going to have pure black all the way down to 50%, down to 0% until there's no gray being applied at all. And then that allows us to precisely control the gradual dodging or burning that we're going to be applying. So in this case, because we are using black, we are burning. If we want to dodge, then we would use white here instead. And we can select that color from here by selecting white. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the burning option first. Once you have the transparency set, go ahead and click OK. Go ahead and create a new layer. Let's change the blending mode to overlay. And then we're going to go ahead and apply the edit to our sky. So let's say we want the sky to be darker at the top and then gradually stay the same as it gets closer to the horizon. Or we could actually do the same thing with water. We can add depth to the water by making the area down here darker that's further away from the sunset. And then gradually it's going to get brighter or appear brighter because no burning is being applied up here in this area. All right, let's go ahead and check our tool options to make sure we have everything properly set up here before we apply the gradient. So by default, the first option should be selected, which is a linear gradient. There are 4 other options as well, and we don't want to use those right now because we want to apply the edit in a linear fashion from top to bottom, not in one of these other formats. We're going to keep our blending mode to normal, opacity to 100%, and then we're going to turn on dither and transparency. So once you have everything set up, go ahead and click at the top of the image and drag your mouse cursor down, and you're going to get a line. The line will then determine the angle at which the gradient will be applied. We don't want to apply it at an angle. We want it evenly from top to bottom and perpendicular or horizontal to the horizon. So to do that precisely, we're going to hold down our Shift key, and then that locks that gradient tool into place so that it's going to be linear or perpendicular to the horizon perfectly. We can still go at an angle of 45 degrees if we want to do that, but we don't for this particular image. So let's just go ahead and drag the mouse cursor down to the horizon to right about there. Once you release, then you will notice that the top of the image is much darker. If I turn this layer off, we can see the effects of that edit. So we burned in the top of the image gradually from the top down with the gradient tool. Now, if you find that too intense, you can always adjust the opacity of that layer to tone it down to get the look exactly the way you want it. All right, let's go ahead and darken up our water as well. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. And we want it darker at the bottom of the image And then gradually it's going to go back to normal based on the gradient that we apply. So basically the same steps. We're going to click at the bottom, drag up, hold down our shift key to make it straight, and then let go. And then it gets darker down here, but we also need to make sure that we select our overlay for our blending mode, and then we can adjust the opacity to our liking. So that's how you burn with the gradient tool. If you want to dodge with the gradient tool, then you just need to come up and select white for your color. And then this will do just the opposite of what we've done with the burning tool, and it's going to make it much brighter. So go ahead and grab this image, grab your gradient tool, apply what you've learned, practice, and you'll be ready to move on to the next section.